Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 9, Ye Who Enter Here. I think this was a really good episode before the, epic winter finale, as they put it. I thought it was cool. We got to see the city. We got to learn a couple of interesting points. I think the really big thing that kind of adds some mystery to the show is really the stuff between Bobby and Mac and how, Bobby, getting back with Hunter, they're in a relationship and, Mac's like, Storm's coming. That seemed fairly simple to me. And at one point I was like, did he used to be with Bobby or something? Is that why he cares? Does he still have feelings for her that we just didn't know they were even together at one point? And then we find out that they have some deal, like there's some extra thing going on, and I don't know if it's spy stuff. It could end up being nothing, but it's TV, so it always ends up being something huge. But I'm very curious as to what it is because it's only involving Bobby and Mac right now since they lost Hartley. So I'm very curious, like, what this little thing is, and it could end up being something silly. Actually, I mean, with it being Agents of Shield, it could end up being like a poker game or something as simple as that, which wouldn't really surprise me for some reason. I kind of just see that as the weird thing that they would hide for whatever reason. But it kind of added a little bit of mystery. Of course, not knowing whether or not Mac is technically even alive, which I think he is based on what we saw him do, like him getting like the crazy super strength and him basically absorbing the power of the ICER bullets. He kind of has superhuman strength right now, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if he's going to be alive, if he'll even be in the next episode, which I have to assume he will be. We got to see a couple of clips where they basically drop down in like the hazmat suits and stuff. I think he's going to be down there. He's going to basically run after them, and it's going to be like a sort of cat and mouse type of thing where he's basically just enraged by these symbols or whatever, and it kind of makes him attack everyone else. So I'm sure he's still alive. I don't know if he's gonna be cured. I hope he is because we really don't have much on him. I that was like one of the things I was upset about. Like I hope he isn't, kind of being put down his path where he's ultimately gonna get killed off because we don't really know this character yet. So it would really suck to lose him, even if he's not like someone from the comic books. It doesn't matter. Like he has a really important role with Fitz in this show. So yeah, I like his character. I like him because of that, and that kind of makes me want to learn more about his character. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with him and how they're gonna continue his character on if they do, or unless they kill him off in the mid-season finale. But that was really good. We didn't get to see too much of the city because it was just them getting in there, and then of course Matt kind of going nuts on everybody. But we got some other really great moments. We got Raina again in this episode, and she's with S.H.I.E.L.D. for most of it, and then of course she ends up with Hydra when Ward comes in, and she finds out that Hydra has the Diviner now, and there's just a ton of different things that are going to be happening with that, especially with the information she kind of gave to Sky and thusly us, and we officially get to know that it's the Kree, which I think was obvious to a lot of people because it's like if they're blue it's Kree, if they're green it's the Skrull, so that's pretty much it, or the Skrull. But she officially said it, and it's kind of like lore in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I thought that was fairly interesting. And she comes from this long, family lineage where they know this story, and the Kree have been here, and they were there for decades, or basically centuries. When she said like her grandmother or great grandmother, and even to them it was just stories. So they came a long, long time ago to try to change the world, change humans, and things like that. So that was really cool, and she kind of answered a couple of questions. Like Sky isn't alien, she's still human, she's just special, which means like she's they can't say mutant because they don't, for whatever reason they don't own the word to that because Sony does, but she's inhuman, which is something that they can do, and they can definitely say inhuman. So Sky isn't a mutant because they can't say it, but she does have specific abilities. Her genetic makeup is something very different, and it allows her to be one of the people that the Diviner says is worthy of entering the city. So we're going to get to see that next week, and I'm really excited for that because I want to see what changes come out of it. And of course, even bigger than that is the really big interaction with Sky and her father, because that'll be interesting to see. It'll be really great just to see how crazy things get, because of course her not liking him, I feel like, is going to send him over the edge. It's pretty much automatic. Like, it's going to send him over the edge in some way. He's already there because he doesn't like Whitehall, so there are going to be multiple forms of that. Ward wasn't even supposed to take Sky, so that's gonna make Whitehall angry, and it's just like a continuous circle of people just doing stuff that isn't gonna make other people happy, and it's all gonna be in like one nice little Hydra building, and that's gonna set off a very bad chain reaction. So I'm excited to see that, and just to see how crazy things get, because I don't know if everything's gonna kind of blow up in next week's episode, but Ward only cares about Sky. Sky's father only cares about killing Whitehall and getting his daughter back from Coulson, and Whitehall only cares about getting basically to the city, and he could just kind of kill everyone else off if he needs to. So no one really cares about anyone else, and like really the only person that does care is Ward to Sky, and of course that may or may not be a good thing. I really don't know, but of course he kind of takes her in this episode, which was to meet her father. So there are just a lot of dynamics that are going to be at play in next week's episode, and I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but it's definitely going to be crazy. So I'm excited for that. We got a really, really great moment that I wasn't even expecting in this episode with Fitzsimmons, and that was really good. They're at least remotely talking to each other. Fitz said that he was going to go to the garage, but they at least had that moment towards the end when the dwarfs go offline, where she's the one who helps him out because Mac doesn't know. And I thought that was a great moment, and it kind of just fit. It was, of course, meant to be in this episode, and I loved it. I thought that was a really great moment to have. I'm hoping that things get back to normal with them. It might still take a long time. It might not just get fixed in next week's episode, but that was the first step. They both were able to get over stuff because each of them have really big issues with what happened, and it's like, Simmons doesn't have the same feelings as Fitz. Fitz has issues with being different than he used to be, but he doesn't exactly want to be the same. Like, he does want to be, but not just so that he can be friends with Simmons, and all these different dynamics that they have in this relationship. So, of course, I think everyone kind of wants them to just be Fitzsimmons, because they were like they were just the pairing in this show where it was just funny to see them together, and they were just really comedic, really smart, and they just got things done in a nice, funny, sarcastic way with each other. So it was just really well done. And I'm hoping things do continue to build up like this. And this was a great big step because, of course, when Simmons first came back, it was just like, it wasn't exactly tension, but it was tense for them. And it was just kind of hard to watch that. Like, they couldn't be around each other. And it was kind of sad. It was like, man, coming off of season 1 and how they used to interact with each other. And then we get this where, of course, when we even first started the season, and Fitz was so different, that was hard to see. And then them getting back together was still hard to see because it wasn't just a nice, happy reunion, because there were a ton of issues as to why Simmons left in the first place. So I'm really hoping we get a lot more of that in next week's episode. And, of course, throughout the rest of the season until they're kind of just back at 100%. But that was really good. We got some interesting moments with Bobby. I liked Bobby and Coulson when she was talking to him about how he's not Fury at all. I really enjoyed that scene, and we got to, like, we kind of know Coulson isn't like Fury, where it's like, all right, we can, as they put in this episode, we can lose this number of people and it's fine. Coulson kind of just goes in and is like, okay, we need to get this done, we need to get that done, everyone needs to get out of it alive, and that's a good mission. And I think I really loved his example of talking about the different people, like people getting vegetables for dinner, or someone selling fruits and selling clothes and stuff like that, and families on their one vacation a year. Just all these everyday things is what they're fighting for. It's not like the fate of the world or all this amazing stuff. It's the little things. It's just the everyday stuff that happens. That's what S.H.I.E.L.D. is for, and that's what he wants to protect. And I really love that. I thought that was a great scene for Coulson, and them kind of just finding out that the city isn't exactly what they want it to be. It's not just as simple answers. Of course, the TV thing, so that was kind of to be expected, but I didn't think they'd get stuck, right as soon as they got in, basically, Matt going crazy, and then we kind of have to wait and see how they decide to explore next week and exactly what they end up finding. And I don't know if the scene with Raina and Sky is actually within the city, because Raina does say now we get to see what we'll become. I don't know if that's actually down in the city, because there was one scene of someone running, and I think it was Sky just because she had long hair, and she wasn't wearing like a hazmat suit or anything like the other characters were. So I don't know if they're in the city. I do have to assume that they're, with her having the tablet, because Raina's like, oh, don't forget your tablet with the map of the city on it. So I have to assume that Hydra will be heading to the city next week's episode as well. But this was definitely a great one. I thought it had some good moments, some tiny little bits and pieces of mysteries and stuff with Bobby and Mac, and definitely some great action. We got like the evil May, I guess, Agent 33 coming back, so that was actually pretty cool. And after May kind of zapped her in the face the last time, she can't exactly take the mask off, so it's kind of just melted onto her face. So that was really interesting, and I love the scene when Hunter actually ran into her, and he was like, we have to get out of here, and you just look down, it's like, what the hell is that? So that was a funny scene. We got to see the Koenig brothers actually together, so we got to see two of them together. They still may be clones, like who knows, but we at least got to see them together, and that was of course a silly moment with Trip trying to figure out like how many of you are there, and him just looking at him like, okay, like I don't really see any differences because of course it's just one guy being duplicated, but it was really great how they did that. I thought it was kind of funny. But great episode. I'm really excited for this mid-season finale. I don't know how dramatic it's going to be. I don't know what incredible changes we're going to get. But if they go down to that city and they use the obelisk as the key it's meant to be used as, who knows what could change in this show. They might be like bringing islands up out of the ocean or like destroying the island they're on. Who knows? But I'm very excited for it. I love this episode. Of course, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And what do you guys think the key is going to do to the city once they actually use it next week? Like, is it going to, like, bring up extra islands, or is it going to actually open up this city completely, or maybe unlock a door to the real city? Because it looked like it was really just like a cave and some, blocks, really, based on what we saw in this episode. But, of course, there's way more to see. So is it going to be good, or is it going to open up something really, really bad that may affect the rest of the cinematic universe, depending on, what's behind the door or whatever opens up. Of course, I want to know what you guys think, so comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.